your band, obviously a massive success. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about how it was getting to that point from where you were in New Jersey. A little bit of the escalation of events, shall we say.
Well, I mean, the truth of it all, I think the one thing that separated us and every other band who was successful, there's one element that the people who didn't do it don't have. And that's that we literally opened up the phone book and found every bar in every state in America that we could get to, not Alaska, not Hawaii, and that we could drive to. So, and we booked shows for $20 or tips sometimes. And we got in like a literal $1,600 van, learned how to keep it going by fixing it, and just drove. And we would do it until the money ran out, and then we'd go home and make more money at work. Like whatever we did, sometimes I worked at a gas station, shoe store, whatever. And then I would quit. And people are like, what do you mean you didn't have a job? I'm like, no, I would save up enough money to go back on tour, save $2,000, and everybody would do that, $2,000, And then we'd pop it in, had $8,000. If there was an emergency in the van, we could fix it, we'd probably eat for a while. And then we'd go on tour and try to pay ourselves back. And we couldn't. But eventually it started to build up. And then like the more we did that, we sort of got like a following in many places. And that sort of buzz, it was totally grassroots, like really done, like almost like what a jam band would do.
Sure.
Where it's all about the people listening. It was nothing to do with radio or labels or any of that. And we just built it up brick by brick until some people started to notice, and then other people started to notice. And then like Bruce Springsteen started to notice, and it was like, But I will say though, that before he came on, like we were doing all right. Like we had like we were doing better than we thought we could ever get to. So like we had like a good setup from doing it just the DIY way. And then he came and kind of like exposed us to lots and lots of people.
Got it.
So, but yeah, it was like the work machine of like the little engine that could. That's what we did.
Well, that's fascinating because, I think a lot of musicians, certainly myself included back when I was younger, it was just like, yeah, you got to do some shows here and there, but sooner or later you got to meet the person that is going to give you the opportunities to do X, Y, and Z. And then my own experience, like, well, you make your own opportunities by just doing it, by just getting out there and doing it. And the thing that my band never really did was we've done it in Europe, but we've never done what you're describing, which is get in the van and go and not care about the dough. You're just out there to play the music, and if you have to sleep on friends' floors and all that other kind of stuff, because there is something totally different about actually getting in front of people and having them experience, just like the internet stuff. It's like, yeah, people enjoy stuff on the internet. They'll see shows on the internet, but then they'll see the band live and go, oh my God, I had no idea. Well, that's the whole thing you're talking about, is the fact that you did that work and people said, oh my God, from the get-go. And then it just built up from there.
Well, the thing that you said about meeting the right person, though, that can be true to a point. It is true. Like you do need to meet people to help you. But the only way is like very early on, we sent a couple demos out and we were like, hey, do you want to sign our band? And they would just be like, no. But the funny thing is with that very same demo and those very same songs, those people came 3 or 6 months or whatever later when we built up a following that was big enough to where, and I'm only talking about 50 people, but you build up 50 people in New Jersey, New York, Boston, Connecticut, Delaware, like in that area,
right?
There are small labels that will come to your shows and be like, what is this band I keep hearing about? Like, I keep seeing all these stickers and people are talking about this band. What is this? And they'll come see you. And with the very same demo, they were like, oh yeah, we want to work with you. So it's just about building up enough noise so that they come to you, because you never want to go. The best advice I could give anyone is never go to them, because you'll get the worst deal. Don't do it. Wait till they come to you. And if they don't come to you, there is always a reason they're not coming to you. And it's because something is not, that one of the fuses is not in the electrical box yet.
Right.
And you got to just figure out which one it is. which I don't know. There was like,
no,
like sometimes we figured it out, sometimes we didn't. But we were very good about asking questions and receiving advice without being sort of like, what do you know? You know, that was another thing that separated us from a lot of people. Is we just sort of, we were sponges. We were like, yeah, cool. Oh, we need to get tighter. What's tighter mean? Oh, okay, we're not playing on time. Okay, all right, let's work on that. Right. Oh, I sing out of key. Okay, I need to fix that. Like, it was never like, what do you know? You just sort of analyze and, you know, I don't know.
No, that's good. These are all good things.
Yeah, that's what I would tell anybody who was like starting out that tried to, and then they go like, I'm not going to tour like that. And I was like, well, McDonald's breakfast, not so bad if you eat it the whole day and you just.
Delicious.
Hash browns. Yeah, it's great. Who doesn't like a hash brown?
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
breakfast any time of the day as well. I mean, you're good.
That wasn't the case when we were doing it. We had to get there by 10 a.m. or else it was not happening. Or 11 or whatever.
SOL. Exactly.
Yeah. So if you were up late, that's too bad.
Well, what is it like to get from the point of, you know, you're slonging it out in the clubs, you're in this $1,600 van, and all of a sudden you find yourself at one of those huge festivals in front of a sea of people and they know your songs. It's just got to be a trip at that point. Am I right?
Yeah, it's a total trip. But the one thing is, like, at those festivals, like, only a small pocket know your songs. Like, they usually speaking, like, when you're in front of, like, a lot of people are like, I want to play Glastonbury or Reading and Leeds or Lollapalooza or whatever. And we've done all those, but like 99% of the time, it's not that cool because there's like 100 people or even if there's 1,000 people, when there's 50,000 people lined up to see Radiohead at 8 o'clock or whatever.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, like it's a dot on a big ocean. So like your fans are like, unless you're like Rage Against the Machine, you know, it's not that cool. Like, so everyone thinks it's like this thing. But when you get out there, you're kind of like, this is so lame. I want to go back to the club. I want to go to the club with 300 people, like, who are pouring beer everywhere because it's alive and electric. And, you know, for me, that was like the thing, you know. And now I don't want beer. I'm like, don't spill beer in my guitar, please. I have insurance, you know. Like, it's not like that. But now that's why I sit down, I play the piano, I whisper sometimes.
Right.
That's the way. But when I was younger, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, but the playing like big shows, it's awesome. Like, there's nothing not cool about that. Cause you're like, there's all these people in this room and I wrote this song on the side of my bed or on the floor somewhere. Like, this is nuts. And it's nuts. It's totally nuts. So it's awesome. Like, I think we never forgot how awesome it is.
Well, let me ask you this. I always think about this as well because I've, you know, in my touring that I've done, I've had, you know, a road manager that doubles as, you know, roadie. You know what I mean? Sure. It's all been like pretty down and dirty, kind of like what you're talking about with your van, with, you know, the guys in the band. At what point you're like, okay, well, now we've got a little bit more, I'm going to hire this person and this person to do stuff. And okay, now I got to get road cases or I got to get gear and I got to, what kind of walk us through that process of, you're like, well, I knew this guy would be good as a roadie because he knew how to do X, Y, and Z, or all that kind of stuff fascinates me, is how the team is built. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's always like somebody wants to do it. That's usually the thing. Like, somebody will come up to you and be like, hey, I want to help out with that. And we had tons of friends in New Brunswick, and like the scene, even just in our home venue, which was called the Court Tavern. And it was like about 250 people, like, on it, you know, jammed in there. But like, there was always somebody who was like, I don't know, I just want to go on tour. Like, give me like $50 a day or a week even. And like, I'll do it. And like, somebody will always be down to help. And before that came, we just did it ourselves. So like, we would just load our own stuff in. The road case thing was huge though, because those are not cheap.
Right.
They're like, $300 each. If you got an acoustic and you're buying a Carlton case, that's as much as the guitar, $1,200.
Right.
You know, but you have to have it because you cannot fly don't let anyone fool you that you can fly in your Martin case or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like that was when we went to Europe the first time. We were like, we got to get, like, I remember the Bouncing Souls was another band from around here that was cool to us. And they're like, dude, you cannot fly with those cases. You got to get road cases. Like, you will smash those guitars. And we were just like, oh no. So on the credit card it goes.
Right.
Figure out how to pay it off.
On the credit card it goes.
Yeah. That thing was sizzling in the early days.
Yeah, it's wild how you have to kind of think through that stuff of how are we going to get those. You know, this trio I have with my son and the organ player. That was my biggest concern. Is like, well, we need a B3 and we need something that's going to pull that thing off. And how are we going to do that overseas? And yeah, it's a nightmare. But you figure it out and away you go. And as you said, usually what happens is that somebody finds out that's a friend of a friend and says, "Oh yeah, well we can take care of it." It's all.
Yeah, there's always somebody willing to like loan you one or you can get, you know, there's always some. I found that musicians are totally down to help other musicians most of the time.
Right.
You know, like they're just, even now though, like people come up to me, especially like after shows or something, and they'll just be like, "How do you do this?" And I'll just be like this. Or if I have that thing that they're looking for, I'll put them in touch with somebody and just be like, "Oh, call this guy. That's who you should call. They'll help you out." You know, and I think that there's so many people who are really willing to help because they've all been there.
Right.
You know, everybody's been there. And like, it's hot on the roof when you're putting the shingles on. I don't want to do that anymore. So just be nice. Try to play good guitar.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah. Guitar's cool. I like it.
Guitar is great. Be nice and play guitar is basically, that's a new t-shirt that we need. Be nice and
play guitar. It's totally fine.
It's really not hard.
Nah. Don't be mean. It's cool.